the Minions Rise of Gru is actually not that bad. Let me explain. Over the course of the years, Illumination movies have become decreasing in quality ever since the Despicable Me franchise, like Despicable Me 1, 2, 3, and the original Minions movie. And then, over time, Illumination became more corrupt. But then there's one film that probably saved this corrupt company, and that is the Minions Rise of Gru. Yeah, it's the Rise of Gru! Woo! The Rise of Gru is such a good movie, and I'm going to be reviewing it in this video. There are going to be some spoilers because I'm going to be reviewing this movie, but I hope you have a good time watching this video anyway. So, the one thing I really like about this movie is that there's a bunch of references that was missed out in the previous Minions movie. Like, for example, we have the cheese race scene, which is similar to the freezer scene in the opening of Despicable Me. We have the mom, which has like always been around in the franchise, and then we have the evil layer, which I thought was very creative of them to have their own mini layer, which already adds some points that this movie is better than the original Minions movie. But one reference I really liked was the Dr. Nefaria reference. Holy shit, my brain exploded when I saw the Dr. Nefaria reference. It was just so cool to see him in this movie, and it was so unexpected, which made me like it even more. Alright, there's a bunch of other guys also that are included, but they don't really have names, because somehow Illumination can name a bunch of yellow blocks, but they can't name any humans, so yeah. So now, I like the 70s fashion. The 70s fashion of the movie is also pretty good. So we have the disco ball, the afro, the pet rock. It makes it so realistic that this movie takes place in 1976. And then another scene, the best scene in the whole entire movie, is the kidnapping scene. So basically, Gru walks out of his house because he's a 5-year-old brat, and that's what 5-year-old brats do. And then he gets kidnapped all of a sudden. And then he gets put in a bag, and then the kidnappers leave. I find the scene so clean and smooth because they're not just some average kidnapping scene in any like, action movie. It's actually realistic, you know, so smooth and so clean, and actually how kidnapping works. So I like how the Illumination noticed that, and I thought that was pretty good. Alright, so the art slaps, the music also slaps, and another part of the movie that was kind of overplayed in the end, but yeah, it's kind of overplayed in the end, but it did have a strong feeling in this movie, was the relationship between Gru and Wild Knuckles. Not Wild Knuckles, the Sonic character, Wild Knuckles in the Rise of Gru, like the villain. So basically, there's this villain that Gru really adores, and he's called the Wild Knuckles. And I think their relationship is pretty good, because Wild Knuckles basically teaches Gru villainy. He teaches you, like, I know, how to steal the Mona Lisa, because that's one of the scenes from the movie. And it just, their relationship is so perfect that I love it a lot. I really like it. Alright, so, yes, this movie is super good, and that you should watch it. If you haven't watched any of the Despicable Me franchise, you should start with this movie first, not the original Minions movie, right? The Rise of Gru is a better prequel than the first Minions, because there's more things brought up in the Rise of Gru, like I said earlier. There's many references, there's many references, there's a lot more character development, and it relates more to the franchise rather than the first Minions. So please watch the Rise of Gru. Don't even watch the first Minions, right? Just watch the Rise of Gru for the first time. Alright, so there are some trash components of this film, but the positives outweigh the negatives. So one thing is that the Gru has some love for the Minions. He doesn't really show it in the movie, though, because I know the adult Gru loves his Minions. I mean, come on, the Minions are the adult Gru's boys, alright? Like, we all know that the Minions and Gru, they go hand in hand. They're literally boys with each other. But they, in the Rise of Gru, they didn't really show that relationship that much. So I find that kind of disappointing, because, you know, like, I thought like Gru likes Minions, but he acts kind of shit toward him. But young Gru acts really shit towards the Minions in the Rise of Gru, and I didn't really like that. That was kind of mean. I felt kind of bad for the Minions, you know? So, I didn't really like that scene. And also, there's this part where the Minions, learn Kung Fu, and and stuff, which doesn't really help. So this is called filler. And you know, I mean, you don't know because this is my first movie review, but I do not like filler in movies. Okay, filler in movies is bad, and this is an example of filler. Minions are learning kung fu. That has nothing to do with the plot, and it doesn't even get resolved in the end because they never actually use kung fu in the end. They just turn into animals, and then, you know, they somehow win. You know, they don't even use kung fu at all. So it's just a waste of time, and I found out so disappointing how they just ripped me off like that. You know, like I don't like that, how like my time is wasted and they just got ripped off, and it's not even resolved in the end. I found that kind of lazy of this movie. Yeah, so now I finished this movie review. I'm going to be reviewing 2 movies next, and that's Bullet Train or Kung Fu Panda. You guys let me know in the comments. I don't know which ones, because those are really good movies. Yeah, make sure to subscribe, and good night, everyone.